Like, hey, Chris. Hey, what's up? So, Bruno is like the younger version of Uncle Charlie. Bruno works his butt off. What you doing? Oh, she said Bruno works his butt off when when he's got all his new music out, and it makes us want to get up and dance. And we're gonna need some new after the election is over and going into the fall. We're in fall, going into winter. We're going to need some new Bruno Mars music. So that's the first thing. So yeah, we're gonna need that. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, it is Monday. It is what we do is on Mondays. It's something to talk about, and we talk about things that happen like toward the end of the week when we were wrapped up and then going into the weekend, and so we rehash trending topics on something to talk about Mondays, and then Dr. Fight will come in and join us, and we're gonna talk. We got to talk about this, and this give you guys something to marinate before we actually get on the topic. Black women are always given such a hard time about our attitudes. So we're going to talk about that when Dr. Fight comes on, because I got something to say about that too. So we're going to discuss that.
You have a lot to say about a lot. That's nothing new.
That's why it's called Something to Talk About and the No Nonsense Woman in Company on Wednesday. Yup, I absolutely do. So let's just get into this. So at the end of last week, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal came out and they made some statements that people on their butts about the Breonna Taylor murder, accident, shooting. Let's just say the Breonna Taylor shooting.
And I'll give you new information came out over the weekend or this morning. One of them, but they got the body cam footage.
Oh, so there was body cam on? The camera was on?
They got body cam footage which shows that the cops did not proceed correctly. So.
Okay, so and I was going to say that because I just want to paraphrase some of the things that Charles Barkley said. He said he's all about
Charles Barkley.
He said he's all about getting justice and things like that, but it should be done in the right way. He compared. He said in his mind the murder of George Floyd and the shooting at Breonna Taylor, that was completely different, and they should be looked at differently. I said I can understand to a certain degree where he's coming from, but the fact of the matter is that what you just said was accurate. There was not proper police procedure. In my opinion, even if you're going to do a knock warrant, once you enter the premises, you should have identified yourself as a police officer.
Right, you should
then maybe her boyfriend wouldn't have shot.
Right, but to simply say, well, you go in, and then the guy fires, then when he fired, you should say Louisville Police.
Exactly. And
then it should have de-escalated from there.
Exactly.
But the fact that
nobody said anything, and all you heard was gunfire repeatedly.
You shoot back,
yeah.
And there was like no, okay, it's like.
And how many? I think there were like what does it say? Over 40 rounds.
40 shell cases.
40 shell cases that was in the apartment alone. Mm-hmm. So how many cops entered the premises? Was it 4? 3. And if all 3 cops are shooting, and the boyfriend is shooting too, you can't. Nobody can really hear what was happening. But I think that has the boyfriend ever come out and he said anything to those when they entered the apartment? Did he ever say, "Who's in here? I have a gun"? Did he say anything like that?
No.
We should have boyfriend never said anything like that.
No, not that I know of.
Okay, I'm just asking because even if he did or if he did or he didn't, he still was the resident inside the apartment. So still, if you're entering somebody's dwelling, it's up to you. The person that's entering that dwelling, and you say you have a warrant. By the time you enter the door, you should have identified yourself as a police officer. Mm-hmm. So I still say the fact that they shot that young woman 5 times and let her lay there on the floor to bleed to death without any emergency rescue, and I'm going to say 20 minutes. When the police are on a shooting, and everybody knows in that precinct or whatever that it's been a police call. So should not automatic ambulance and things like that be on the way? So if the police officers were doing their job in any way, you would have said we need medical emergency assistance here. It should have come within what, maybe in less than 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. It should have been on the scene. So the fact that they just let her lie there, being riddled with bullets and doing nothing about it, that to me speaks volumes. It may not have been any intent
Right, but even if you weren't going to do murder,
manslaughter.
I don't even think it was intentionally you meant
right,
to murder her.
Right.
There was manslaughter.
It was manslaughter. Yeah.
Involuntary.
Right. Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Something should have been done.
Something should have been done besides talking about the neighbors' bullet holes in their wall. That's all I'm saying.
Like
the neighbors.
Said,
that was ridiculous.
Her neighbor's walls got justice, and she did
it. Exactly.
That's where I'm at. I don't say it should, because it's not like you went in there and looked for her and murdered her. It's not like the George Floyd where that should be murder.
But,
I don't know why.
But clarify, were they weren't even in the right apartment, right?
No, they were in the right apartment.
So did the boyfriend have a warrant? Is that what happened?
So what it was is that I guess her ex-boyfriend, they saw like 3 days prior leaving her residence with like a package or something.
Okay. So
they thought that drugs or money or something was in the apartment. So that's when they got the warrant, and they went there like either the next day or 2 days later, and were going there because they thought it was like money or drugs or something in there. But this was from her ex-boyfriend, not the current boyfriend.
Okay, so my next question is, why was ex-boyfriend at his ex-girlfriend's apartment? That's a question in itself.
I don't know.
Right, exactly. But either way, like you said, it should have been manslaughter or involuntary, whatever you call it. It should not have just been the neighbor's walls got shot up. I mean, it should have been something more to that. So I think that they need to persist on that count. So I understand. I understand. I don't necessarily say I agree with Shaquille O'Neal because I think his point was, well, they had a warrant and they were just doing their job. You know, this judge signed the warrant.
Yeah, they had.
We all know they were doing their job, Shaquille. So that wasn't even.
But
why you even make that statement?
Everybody knows they were doing their job. It's just the fact of you should have identified yourself as Louisville police.
I'm like that too. Once you enter, because here's the thing: if somebody's breaking into your house and you say, "Who is it?" They not gonna answer and say, "It's me. I'm coming to take all your crap."
Right.
They're not gonna say that.
Right.
So the mere fact that he's like, okay, I'm the guy. Her boyfriend's like, I'm gonna be cool because I'm gonna get them. I don't want them to find me in my house. So I'm gonna be quiet. So it was up to the police. They had a duty to identify themselves. They had a duty, and the fact that they didn't do that is negligent. Is negligent. So that's where we are. But I won't say don't lump them in the same as George Floyd, because
I never said that should have been lumped in with George Floyd. Cause I mean that was a totally different situation.
Right. The man was murdered. Right. The man was already subdued. Yeah.
Right. You put him in handcuffs. Then you lay him on the ground and put your knee on your neck.
For 10 minutes? For 10 minutes?
I mean, honestly, somebody in prison, I don't advocate for violence, but let somebody grab you and put their knee on your neck.
Yeah.
And see how you feel.
Right. And the fact that he was already, George Floyd was already handcuffed, so he couldn't even push him off of him or try to wiggle free because he was already just restrained.
Right.
So that was blatant murder. That was murder.
Then you threw the man over.
Like he
dead,
was, just like nothing.
And like he was a dog in the street.
Nothing. Just nothing.
So so all of you all that on trial, I mean, honestly, they say second degree murder. I personally say first degree murder. Intentional murder, because I mean that was just ridiculous.
That was intent. When you kneel on somebody's neck and obstruct their breathing, that's intent.
So I don't care if you got to go in there and add some second degree murder with intent. I don't care what you need to do. That was intentional murder across the board.
Because think about this. Think about if
all the ones now and stuff like, because they all starting to turn now. Now they all want separate trials. They want this. They don't want to be tried together because they like, well, I wasn't the one that did the murder. Why am I? Because you stood there. You see my head?
Exactly. You stood there.
You let it happen.
Yep. Just like all you other police officers that are on the police force, and you know all these bad cops that you work with, and you don't say anything. Oh, and you won't say anything. You are complicit in the cops keep doing they bad behavior over and over and over again.
Stood there.
Yep.
That's the problem. And that little fat Asian, I'm so sick of him.
Rashida said a little fat Asian. Oh my God.
He keep talking. Well, I didn't do that. You stood there. And you was
You're the one that was standing there talking crap over to the ones on the sidewalk. Exactly.
And didn't let nobody help him.
Yeah.
If I'm the people standing on the street, I would have knocked him down because he ain't been nothing.
Yeah. So if anybody should be tried, it's the two of them. The one that actually did the physical murder and him, because you was standing there talking crap.
You was standing talking crap.
Yep.
You had people on the
Sure was.
He need help. Oh, he's fine. He's doing what he need to do. You little fat mother. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
Lord.
If anything,
Don't get me
yes,
started.
yes.
Don't get me started on him.
That's why I say if
I
anybody
haven't
needs
seen
to.
that
Yeah.
one.
And then who's the young one? The one who been a police officer with all the 3 days.
The rookie.
Yeah.
The one that's the
No, okay, he was just dumb. He still should get something. But you know, I get it. When you're out there on the street, you have to follow orders of the cop that's in command or over you or whatever. So I get. But this is what I just say. If people just basic right and wrong. Basic right and wrong. If you follow that premise in everything that you do in life, and I can speak to myself first. If we can follow that basic premise of right and wrong in everything that we do, a lot of this nonsense would not be. All this stuff would not be because you're like, oh, okay. Remember when you were a kid, you did something wrong, and your parents said pop, and they popped your hand or they popped your butt. See how I just popped it right there? Then you just like, ooh. Or if you did something really wrong, it was like pop, 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 pop to the butt a few times. Then you're like, ouch, that hurt.
I ain't do that today. What you hit me for?
Well, I'm demonstrating how, basic right and wrong when you're teaching kids at a young age, they remember that.
Hit yourself next time. I ain't do nothing.
Okay, say it again. Now see, that was one of those when, when your kid get older and they keep doing something and you don't want to, you can't pop their butt, you was like, hey. So you get their attention. And they be like, ow.
Okay, look.
So that's how you...
She keep hitting on me. This ain't cool today. I ain't done nothing yet.
So that's how we teach our children right from wrong, and as they grow up, they carry that along with them. I don't know what happens to police officers when they become cops, and they feel like they become above the law.
Let me tell you what happens to them. Everybody that becomes a police officer, they was bullied in some form in school.
That's probably true too. I probably
so they get older and they can go in the police academy. It's not gonna take them long to become police officer.
11 weeks.
And
that is pitiful.
It takes longer than that to get into the time in. But anyway,
it take longer than that to go to beauty school. What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
To become a cosmetologist, a barber, whatever.
Anyway, let me continue my point.
Okay.
My point is, they some kid that was bullied. They probably went real life in school.
Yeah.
So they
Especially
go.
the fat Asian one.
You know what?
I'm just saying.
So then,
you're gonna get tell that he probably used to get a lot of butt whooping.
So then you get on and you become a cop.
Yep.
And you go and you see this person like 20 years after the fact. And you feel like, oh, I'm going to go get them now because I'm a cop and I can do what I want to. Ain't going to be no consequences. That's y'all problem.
And you know what? That is something because I remember.
That is y'all problem.
I'm not going to put it. I remember this guy. I remember we went to a concert or whatever. And I remember seeing him. He had his police, he was police in the venue or whatever. So he's a police officer. And I remember him. He was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, hey. And I was like, oh, you a police officer now. Now, keep in mind, I remember, I ain't even call your name, but he was kind of up there in the police department, And I was just like, man, I know people used to tease your ass all the time. And I was like, huh.
See my point?
Right, so he said that because I'm not even going to say his name, but I remember him.
You just made my point. I'll tell you. Yeah. That's why because police officers, they've been bullied a little bit.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, I'm going to become a police officer. I'm going to see them. I'm going to get them.
Well, here's the deal. I'm going to say this. I was bullied as a kid, too. But I didn't. I didn't grow up to be. I didn't grow up to be a police. We would want to be a police officer.
So was I. But here's the thing. I was not going to send my soul to hell just to get back at some people that bullied me.
That is correct. I agree with that. I 1,000% agree with that.
Because here's the thing. Because if I see you now,
and right,
I'm be polite and say hello. Now, if you see me and say something out of order, now I might get a little ignorant, won't lay some hands on.
See, more likely than not, if you were a person that bullied me, and I see you, I might say hello to you. I'm gonna really think about that.
Now here's the thing. I might have a Bernie Mac moment if you get out of the way.
Hey, Radia. She said, "Hey, Queens." Hey.
Yeah, I might have that moment where you want to have somebody up on sight. But the others.
Yeah, see, if it was a one particular guy, and I'm gonna be honest. If I ever ran across him and he bullied me, and he was like the lead bully. He was like the one that was every day, you know how you be at lunchtime, and he would start talking crap, and then everybody would start circling around you. He was that asshole. So if I ever saw him, I would probably, I'm gonna be honest, I probably would football him on sight. I'm gonna be real with y'all, yeah.
You had that Bernie Mac word. Ain't gonna be no misunderstanding when we see each other.
And what was the one that Eddie Murphy said? It's gonna be some consequences. What was it?
And repercussions.
Some consequences and repercussions. Exactly.
And
if I ever see him,
and
so
somebody
yeah.
else say ain't gonna be some furniture moving around there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Yeah.
Look,
so if I ever saw him, that's gonna be a that's gonna be a negatory, brother. Just so that's gonna be a negatory.
Look, gonna say.
Okay, we gotta go to we gotta go to a break. We're gonna be back. Like, look, you guys, in 2 and 2.
2 and 2. Nobody say